People most certainly should not DIY FMT at home without medical supervision. Who would even think to do that?
Totally agree.
Oh, can you just, like, one, you don't really know what you're doing properly. Two, you haven't been screened, and screening was a huge thing for me. Like, I know my husband, I know what he eats. 9 times out of 10, I know he goes to work and he comes home, he's around me. I've known him for 10 years. You still don't really know what's going on internal because no one does unless you've been screened. So I wanted him to be screened to make sure that not only is he not giving anything to me, but obviously that he's healthy too.
In our trials and in using FMT in the hospital, the donor, so the person who donates their stool to the unhealthy individual, goes through a really rigorous screening process. So we not only screen for bloodborne communicable diseases, any parasites or bacteria in their poo, we also ask them about their diet, if they've travelled anywhere. Questions like that, and I think the average person at home is not going to be able to get that kind of screening from someone, and it would be really horrible if they got a disease while trying to cure the disease that they have. So I think I wouldn't recommend doing it at home without the supervision of any medical staff.
I completely agree with Amy, and not just the obvious diseases that we can pick up on screening, but the not so obvious ones. So because your bacteria might cause other illnesses, maybe it's related to some forms of diabetes, maybe autoimmune neurological disorders. We choose a highly selected, healthy group of individuals who have undergone a very extensive screening and understand that, you know, when we transplant this very healthy specimen into a person with a disease, that even despite all of that, there is a risk that we might be transmitting an illness to that person. Because if that donor ever developed, I don't know, diabetes or fatty liver or another illness, it's theoretically possible at this early stage that you might transmit it to the person who's receiving the transplant. So do it yourself at home is risky.
If you're doing FMT to take on someone else's microbiome, what else are you taking on that you don't know about? Like, you just wouldn't do it. You wouldn't take a random tablet that you had no idea what it was. So why would you do the same with poop?
I think it's also important to understand why people do that. People are sick, people are desperate, and you can understand why people do these things at home. And it's probably true that in current medicine, and even some doctors, and we probably don't provide enough to these patients, which is why they are in this desperate situation. So I understand where they're coming from, but I caution against it.